The ending of Neon Genesis has always been a controversial topic amongst the anime community. Some like the ending of the series, and some enjoy the ending in the movie, and some like me have only seen the ending of the series. So this video will focus only on the series. Now I really enjoyed this show, even though I was really disappointed in how it ended, which is a very common opinion. Neon Genesis is a story that takes place in Tokyo, Japan, and was created by Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. The story at first to the viewer may seem simple, as it's about an organization named NERV who have created weapons of mass destruction, the Avas, to fight against the humans' greatest threat, the Angels. But things are a lot deeper than what is shown on the surface, as the story is actually about how characters deal with their emotional trauma, mostly from being abandoned. The story starts when the protagonist, Ikari Shinji, is recruited by NERV to be a pilot for one of the Avas, but there is a slight issue for him because NERV is run by his father. Shinji and his father don't really have a good relationship, or rather they have no relationship, which is something we see a lot in anime. I mean, we have Gon and Gin, Van Hohenheim and the Ulrich brothers, then there is Goku and Gohan. I mean, Gohan was pretty much raised by Piccolo, but anyway, let's not get sidetracked.
No, I am your father.
So, the reason for this broken bond between Shinji and his father Gendo is that Shinji grew up feeling abandoned by his father when he was young, after his mother died. Gendo left him behind to continue his work at NERV, but there is a twist to this because this is Shinji's story. But Gendo's perspective of things is very different from Shinji, as he believes that Shinji ran away from him instead of him leaving his son behind. Now this is something that Sadamoto did very well in the story, having these characters present different views on similar situations, having them deal with their own trauma of loss in different ways. For instance, Asuka, who is one of the other pilots, uses confidence as a way to block out her true emotions. She uses this cocky persona as a filter because she doesn't want to relive the horrific moment she saw as a child, returning home to find her mother dead as she took her own life. Asuka believes that being the best Eva pilot can take that pain away, which fuels her with the undying confidence of being the best. Shinji, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. His loneliness actually gives him doubt. He doubts whether anybody wants him around, and he doubts his own ability as an Eva pilot. You'd think after 20 or so episodes that he'd grow, but that's not what happens. See, Shinji is somewhat stuck in a cycle of evolving and devolving. He steps up to the occasion and shows some growth, but one bad moment sends him crumbling back down. He is somewhat of a tragic character, but this was purely done on purpose by the author. This was to portray the reality of one's trauma, and that you can't just beat it because somebody gave you a speech or because you have supportive people around you. I mean, that is important, but what's most important is how you choose to fight, what decisions you will take to break down those walls that keep you trapped inside. And doing that takes a lot of time. It can't just happen overnight. And unfortunately, Shinji makes the wrong choice at times when he's supposed to show some growth. For example, there was a moment where Shinji decided to quit being an Eva pilot because of his father's decision, but instead of confronting the situation head on, he quits and runs away. Gendo even stating that he is disappointed in Shinji running away again. Now don't get me wrong, this moment was incredible to watch. As a matter of fact, at that time watching it, I was hoping that Shinji punches the guy because his decision almost cost him the life of his friend. But when you really think about it, Shinji shouldn't have quit. Him confronting the situation head on instead of going backwards would have shown that his father no longer has a hold on him. But his decision showed that his father controls almost every aspect of his life indirectly. And this is further showed throughout the series, as every time Shinji grows and starts showing himself to others and allowing them in his space, he shuts them out at every opportunity he gets. Well, except for Kai, which is a whole nother story which makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, how do you introduce a character, make him fall in love with the protagonist, have the protagonist do the complete opposite of what he's been doing with his emotions when it comes to the characters that he spent more time with? All of this happening in one episode? Surely that's an issue. Most people, when they speak about the ending of Neon Genesis, they speak about the last 2 episodes. But honestly, I think episode 24 is a load of rubbish in terms of pacing. They should have stretched that out into more episodes, add that to the finale, and everything just feels so rushed. Now we can't speak about Neon Genesis without mentioning Misato Katsuragi. I really enjoyed watching this character and her development. Now Katsuragi and Shinji have a similar situation. They both have fathers which abandoned them to work for NERV. But the difference here is that when the first angel attacked, Katsuragi Katsuragi lost her father, so she is sort of torn between resenting her father for putting work first or to actually miss him. Her father has had a significant impact on her, as this is shown by her relationship choices, especially when it comes to picking out who to date, as she states to Inspector Kaji that she dated him because he reminds her of her own father. But even though she has a similar situation to Shinji, they deal with it differently. See, she is not afraid of being herself and opening up to others. We see the real Katsuragi from the start of the show, and she has a lot of resolve. We see this after she loses someone important to her, and she carries on with her own personal mission to reveal secrets that NERV are keeping. So yeah, NERV are a sketchy organization, and they have a hidden motive to why they have these Evas. And also Gendo has his own personal objective, which gets revealed in the finale. Now there are a lot of mysteries in the show. Most of them are left unanswered, but that was done purposefully, as Sadamoto wanted the viewers to put the pieces together for themselves. He left some hints for us to fill in the gaps. For example, the Evas can only be piloted by certain children, and they can only pilot a specific Eva or else they will get rejected by it. The mystery behind this actually gets hinted at a lot in the show, and that's because the Evas actually contain the souls of their mothers. Yes, so Shinji pilots the Eva that has his mother's soul, and Asuka does too, and potentially Rei as well, but we'll talk about Rei soon. So whenever they try to switch into different Evas, the Evas start to lose control, and this is seen as a rejection. We actually get to see Shinji's mom in Spirit 4 protect Shinji, which pretty much confirms the situation. But then there is Rei, who is an even bigger mystery because she is a clone. There are multiple Reis, and it seems that whenever she dies, she comes back as a different Rei without previous memories, or maybe it takes her time to gather them. But if Rei is a clone, then how does the Eva accept her? My theory is that her mother could be Ritsuko's mother, because when Gendo's wife passed, he and Naoko had somewhat of a relationship, but he also has a relationship with Ritsuko, which is very weird. So it's possible that she got cloned using Naoko's DNA, and when she died they combined her with the Eva. But there's also the potential that she could actually be an angel herself, which wouldn't be shocking as we have already seen an angel in human form, though I'm really not sure what the deal with Rei is. This is one of the things in Neon Genesis that frustrated me because it was left unanswered. Some stuff you could piece together, but the other stuff were left hanging and were never expanded on. Now I don't know how I've gone this far without mentioning the iconic opening that this anime has. One of the best openings I have ever heard. If you know a sci-fi anime better than this one, then please let me know. Side note, Cowboy Bebop doesn't count because that's just cheating. I wanted to see if it's possible to speak about this show without bringing up the ending, but unfortunately that's just impossible because the ending of Neon Genesis is what kills the show's rating for me. The ending is somewhat anticlimactic. There isn't really anything happening besides a whole mind trip event which takes place. So basically what happens is that Gendo's plan is revealed, and the result of this plan is to make every person one unit, one being having human souls merged into one. This was mainly done so that people don't have to deal with being alone or experiencing pain which is caused by love. So we see this process, which is called instrumentality, take place within Shinji's mind, and he goes through this mind trip where we see him accept his situation and have different views on his life. Now I'm not a fan of this ending, mainly because it happened too quickly and it doesn't really solve the angel problem. Maybe I'm missing something or I have to watch the movie, but I am so confused by this ending. Despite the ending of the show, the plot and the characters are top tier. The show gets a good 7.5 rating for me. If it wasn't for the ending, this definitely would be an 8 or a 9. But that's all there is to say on Neon Genesis. Now if you have an opinion on how you feel about the ending, please put it down below in the comment section. And if you have any show you'd like me to review, then put your recommendation down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.